I think that the more elegant way is to introduce a new idea, Bitcoin. What is it good for? Oh, it'll be good for your family. What else? It'll be good for your company. What else? Oh, it'll help your bank. What else? It'll help your state. What else? It'll help your city. It'll help your country. What else? Oh, you want to fight a war? It'll help you win the war. You disagree with X, it'll help your political party. You want to win an election, it'll help you win, right? What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is good for you, right? Bitcoin is empowerment technology that will allow you to be the best version of yourself. Who's losing? Nobody's losing. Who's wrong? Nobody's wrong. Just everybody's just better with this. It's better living through technology. And my approach is, I think about the one thing that can make the world a better place. And I think about the one thing I might accomplish. Like I don't think, like MicroStrategy spent $7.5 billion buying Bitcoin. I don't think that if we spent $7.5 billion on the next 100 things you think are wrong with the world, I don't think it'd make a difference. I think that you would just spend the money and the counter side, the other opposition, would spend an equivalent amount of money to negate the amount of money you're spending. So I don't think you change the world through full frontal attacks, and I don't think you change it through aggressive confrontation. I think you change it through elegant, diplomatic innovation. And that's my observation. If I look at the history of the world, the people that made the world a better place, the people that introduced steel, electricity, antibiotics, the smallpox vaccine, airplanes, steam engines, internal combustion engines, motors, Starlink. These are all very elegant things, and they're non-controversial at the end of the day. Maybe early on people are afraid of new tech. But if you look back and you say, well, just give me an example of someone that righteously opposed electricity, who history deems was on the right side of that, I think generally history views you on the wrong side of technical innovation. And so you'll win over time if you want to change the world with technology. Technology is bipartisan. If you want to change the world with religion, or you want to change the world with ideology or politics, or you want to change the world with critique, or violence, I think the world has a way of pushing back. And so I guess I was just practical. And in 2020, what started as how do I save my own company became how do I actually do something good for my shareholders, right? I started with a defensive strategy almost out of desperation. It's either this or throw in the towel and we're out of business. And then it became, opportunity. I can make money for my shareholders. We did it when the stock was $120 a share. And then when the stock gets to $300 or $400 a share, we think, well, maybe we can keep doing this. And then it became wait a minute, there's a lot of other people. There's 400 million people in this crypto community, and they actually like Bitcoin. And there's hundreds of millions of people that own some piece of Bitcoin, and they love it. And then there's the Bitcoin maximalist, and they think that's an instrument of economic empowerment. They think it's going to change the world for the better, and they don't want to live in a world without it. Why do they, and so getting drawn into the spiritual side of Bitcoin, it came later, right? I realized there are a lot of people. Jack Dorsey maybe being the most famous of these people, that clearly they were motivated by spiritual drivers and spiritual motivations more so than by monetary. He didn't need to do Bitcoin to save his company. He was a big tech billionaire success. I did, and on the other hand, it's not bad that we both had different motives, because my motive was save a zombie company. Guess what? There's 30,000 other zombie companies, and there's 300 million corporations in the world. They're all in the same boat with me, right? So my motive was one direction. His motive was a different direction, but I eventually ended up appreciating him and that spiritual element, and discovered the GGs of the world, and all of the Bitcoin believers through podcasts like yours and the like. But I think he ended up appreciating what we were doing too, right? It's after MicroStrategy that Square buys Bitcoin, and then it was just a month ago that Square announced that they would start buying Bitcoin every month, right? And there is a role for corporations, in this as well. So I think that we're all evolving, and my journey kind of went from one economically motivated to then one spiritually motivated, and then I started to see the ideology, right? And if you want to fix there are serious problems in the political system of the U.S. There's dysfunction, and there's serious dysfunction in the EU, and there's serious dysfunction in China, and there's some serious dysfunction in South America. And probably you'll find some serious dysfunction in Asia, right? And then we could tack on a little bit of serious dysfunction in ASEAN and New Zealand and Australia. And I'm not going to talk about it, but I think we all know that there's some serious dysfunction. I think that the answer is not to side with one party against the other, or to blame one party, or to celebrate one politician as the savior. I think the solution is to spread the orange wave. Right, it's the orange solution, which is every political party, every politician, every movement will find that they will be the best version of themselves. They will be more effective. They will be more ethically grounded. They will be more technically grounded, and they will be more economically grounded in pursuit of their mission if they embrace Bitcoin and the Bitcoin standard. And so that has become the primary driving force of my life right now. And I use the Saylor Academy to promote Bitcoin education. And we've done courses in Austrian economics, and courses in Bitcoin for developers, and courses in Bitcoin for everybody, and courses in monetary history. And we do our best to educate the world in that mission. And at MicroStrategy, we've tried to set an example for a company on the Bitcoin standard, and not just do the minimum, but actually show how you can adopt a Bitcoin development strategy, and you can grow the network through financial activity, like issuance of equity and debt and securitizing the network. But also, we do our best to do our Bitcoin R&D projects. We have a Lightning project. We have our Orange project. We experiment, working on layer 2 protocols that might be helpful. And then I get calls from CEOs, and I spend a lot of time. My best experiences are when I have a CEO of a publicly traded company, and they'll say to me, "I saw what you did. Tell me how we could do it." I'm like, "Okay, let me tell you." And I'm like, you want me to talk to your board? You want me to talk to your management team? Here's everything we did in Vegas. You want to talk to, all of our custodians, all of our traders, blah blah blah. This is what I can help with. And I think that there's a movement afoot, and we can see, even as of this week, there's a sea change, and there's just a broad worldwide consensus that we need something different than the ideas of the last 30 years. We need something new, and that manifests itself in a groundswell of support for Bitcoin, a groundswell of support for crypto, a groundswell of support for digital assets, and a new way to see the world. On Wall Street, on Main Street, on Capitol Hill, in Europe, in Hong Kong and London, et cetera. And so this is maybe the most exciting time, in my life, and maybe in the history of Bitcoin. I think it's a pretty exciting time.
Yeah, but all this, and look, there's been some complex computer science problems solved with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin technically is complex, but the idea itself is quite simple. It's a fixed limit currency of 21 million with a known issuance rate. It's a very simple monetary policy. I know you have a background in systems design. We interviewed a guy called Nicholas Bowick, who reached out to me. He's never been on a podcast.
I listened to it.
Yeah.
I loved it. He's great.
I mean, and
aeronautical engineer.
Honestly, he was great.
Aeronautical engineers.
But you have a background of understanding systems design. What is it about Bitcoin that enables it to do so much? Is it bringing balance to the world? Is it this kind of yin yang to a financial system where they've tried to force stability?
I think it's the three E's. It's ethics, it's economics, and it's engineering. It's sound ethics, sound economics, sound engineering. And in ethics, it's this idea of a fair ledger and a fair asset. Satoshi created a way, Satoshi gave it away, Satoshi went away, right? If you want the roadmap for an ethical launch of a decentralized digital commodity, an open protocol for anything, it's you create it, you give it away, you disappear, right? And Prometheus is not standing around taking 10% of the revenue from fire, and suing you for patent infringement a million years after Prometheus gave us fire. Just create it, give it away, go away. And so that idea is a very profound idea, because you think about how many corporations and governments in the world where you have the bringer of truth or the bringer of the solution, and they want to stick around and benefit from it. Right? And so I think Bitcoin sets that example. And the second thing is it's economically sound, right? You can create in theory, a digital commodity that's inflationary. It's like, I can create and give away a protocol that inflates 5% a year, and I can go away and disclaim beneficial ownership, but it's still messed up. Like, it's still defective. Like 5% a year means it just keeps inflating. So this simple idea, which is such an elegant idea, pick a number, don't change the number. Right? It's like the number 9 has stood for 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's got to be a certain number. That is the same. It's not changing next year. No one gets to redefine it. There's no debate over it, right? 9, right? It is a permanent thing. How important is it? Well, every machine in the world works on it. Like, every computer in the world works. And if you actually want to warble 9 to be 9.5 and 9.25, if you want deflection on the idea, it destroys the machine, right? The reason that we use steel is it doesn't deflect. The reason we use math is it doesn't deflect. So this idea of a fixed number that nobody could change, that no corporation could corrupt, that no politician could corrupt, that no political movement could corrupt, incredibly powerful.